how many times a person does something. Okay? Is it 1 time, 2 times, 3 times? But we don't use 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. We use the words always, usually, often, sometimes, and never. Okay, so today we will learn to use, as I said to you, always. Repeat after me, please.
Always.
Usually.
Usually.
Often.
Often.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Never.
Never.
Okay. Now, what do these words mean? What do they mean? Let's look here. Okay. If we have a scale like this, right in the bottom, we have never. Never means never, ever, 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 ever. Okay. You never do something. Next one, a little bit higher, is sometimes, which is 1 to 70. I sometimes do something. Okay. Next, often. Often means many times. Not usually, little bit less than usually. I often do something. Usually means almost all the time. Almost all the time. And then always, 100%. Always. I always do this. Alright. So, always. Let's look at some examples of always. Let's look at the first one. I always speak English. Teacher Nadia, I always speak English, right? Okay, so repeat after me. I always speak English.
I always speak English.
Let's look at the next one. I always clean my teeth.
I always clean my teeth.
I always drink tea.
I always drink tea.
Okay, that means every day, all the time you do these things. Okay. Usually I said almost all the time. So I usually check my email. Repeat after me, please.
I usually check my email.
Next one. I usually cook food at home.
I usually cook food at home.
I usually ride my bike.
I usually ride my bike.
So this is almost all the time. Next one. Often. I often travel to new places at the weekend.
I often travel to new places at the weekend.
Okay. I often go to a restaurant.
I often go to a restaurant.
I often listen to music.
I often listen to music.
Okay. Remember, often means a lot, many times, but not all the time. Okay, so it's kind of half the time. Sometimes. All right. I sometimes play badminton.
I sometimes play badminton.
Okay. Not all the time. Sometimes can be maybe 1 day a week, 2 days a week. You don't play badminton every day. You sometimes play badminton. All right? Next one. I sometimes speak to my parents in South Africa.
I sometimes speak to my parents in South Africa.
Okay. It's expensive to call to South Africa, so I speak to my parents once a week. So sometimes. And then I sometimes go to the Nadia.
I sometimes go to the Nadia.
And then the last one, never. Never, ever, ever will we do this. 0%. I never read the newspaper.
I never read the newspaper.
I never eat panda bears.
I never eat panda bears.
And I never play baseball.
I never play baseball.
Okay, so never, I don't do any of these things. Okay, let's have a look here. Here is a calendar, is a schedule for Sam, Park Ji-sung, and for Subin. Alright, now every day, this is what they do every day. So let's look at how often does Sam clean her teeth? What do you think? Raise your hand. Yes.
Every day, I always cleans my teeth.
Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay, Sam always cleans her teeth. So repeat. Sam always cleans her teeth.
Sam always cleans her teeth.
Okay, next one. How often does Park Ji-sung play football? Yes. Usually, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. That's right. Okay, so how often does Park Ji-sung play football?
Park Ji-sung usually plays football.
Okay, good. How often does Park Ji-sung ride his bike? Yes.
Park Ji-sung sometimes rides his bike.
Okay, do you think so? Okay, how often does Park Ji-sung ride his bike?
Park Ji-sung sometimes rides his bike.
Okay, so only one day he rides his bike, that's only sometimes. Alright, next one. How often does Subin go to school by bus? Yes.
Subin usually goes to school by bus.
Okay, not every day, so that is usually, that's correct. Okay, how often does Subin go to school by bus?
Subin usually goes to school by bus.
Good. How often does Subin go to school by train? Yes, sir.
Subin sometimes goes to school by train.
That's correct. Only one time, so Subin sometimes goes to school by train. How often does Subin go to school by train?
Subin sometimes goes to school by train.
Okay. How often does Subin go to school by bike?
Subin never goes to school by bike.
That's right. There is no bike there. Only Park Ji-sung rides a bike, so Subin never goes to school by bike. How often does Subin go to school by bike?
Subin never goes to school by bike.
That's right. Okay, now the last part we're going to do is a class survey. Now, to give you an example of how to do it with your friends, you are going to ask me first. Okay, so let's start over there. Do you want to ask the first question? So how do we do this? How often do you meet your friends at the weekend? Okay, so do you want to start? Do you want to ask the teacher? How often?
How often do you meet your friends at the weekend?
I usually meet my friends at the weekend. I often meet my friends at the weekend. Okay, next table. Who wants to ask teacher a question?
How often do you play sports at the weekend?
I'm sorry, I forgot my answers. I'm very bad. Bad preparation. Okay, I sometimes play sports at the weekend. Okay, next team.
How often do you brush your teeth at the weekend?
I always brush my teeth at the weekend. Okay, who brushes their teeth sometimes? Only sometimes. Nobody. Hey. Okay, next, back to table 1.
How often do you read books at the weekend?
I usually read books at the weekend. Okay, next one.
How often do you travel to new places at the weekend?
I often travel to new places at the weekend. Last table.
How often do you read your email at the weekend?
I usually read my email at the weekend. And the last one, table 1.
How often do you read a paper at the weekend?
enjoyable at the weekend. Okay, so what you guys are going to do is I'm going to give each team a paper like this, and you're going to write your names. Usually, who usually does that, who often does that, who sometimes does it, and who never does that.